All right, the quarterfinal lineup at the African Cup of Nations almost complete. 7 teams through to the last 8, and of course the last slot is being fought for as we speak. That's a game currently going on between South Africa's Bafana and the Atlas Lions of Morocco. That's how we welcome you to the show tonight. I'm Yemi Adebayo. And of course, on the show, we'll spend quality time talking about Africa's biggest football tournament, the African Cup of Nations. And hopefully, we'll be able to spare time for some other interesting things happening in the world of sports. But we can't be forgiven if we spend most of the time on the Cup of Nations. It's a two-man show. My colleague, Austin Okonakpan, is suited and ready as we take this ride together.
What a greetings to you, Yemi, and of course everyone joining us on the show tonight. Action-packed world of sports. The Africa Cup of Nations, what a story, Yemi. Yemi, I'm sure now you will be thinking and saying, did Austin watch this Cup of Nations before it started? Because everything that I talked about, as regards upsets, as regards oddity, as regards the small teams, proving a point to the bigger teams, already done. Can you believe it? Defending champions, Senegal, couldn't go beyond the round of 16. The Pharaohs of Egypt, also out of the competition. Côte d'Ivoire, that got a second chance to just come back and see what the Afcon still looks like. They're still proud at the competition. And I love it so much because I know African football, if the host had crashed out, would have had a draft tournament. So I like the fact that Côte d'Ivoire still powerful at the competition. And of course, the Super Eagles of Nigeria still daring to dream. Can they do it again? I don't know. Let's see.
Let's wait and see. Joseph Pizarro would make a lot of people eat the humble pie, myself included, but I wouldn't mind. If he gets to that. All right, let's introduce our guest in the Lagos studio. Just walk across now. Okoyemi Akeode joins us now. Okoyemi, greetings to you, and thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show tonight.
Well, thank you, Yemi. I mean, I could literally touch the excitement on Austin's voice. I mean, it's always an amazing time when we have, we get to do this. It's been an amazing Afcon, no doubt about that. The fact that Africa has stolen the attention of the world right now, the fact that we've seen an Afcon of upsets, the smaller teams have embraced the platform, the stardom. We've seen the likes of Cape Verde. A lot of people didn't see them coming. We've also seen quality goals. I mean, amazing goals. I was talking to a friend of mine this afternoon. I said, by the time they want to choose the top 10 goals of this tournament, I'm wondering which of the goals will be dropped. And more than anything else, the officiating of this tournament have proven to the world that Africa can actually get things right. So when we have the proper organization, put the right people at the right places, it's not rocket science, you know what I mean? And I'm really, really enjoying this moment. I've watched a couple of Afcon, no doubt about that. But so far, so good. I think this is one of my very best. This is one of my very best.
All right. It's always the best till you see the next one. All right. Of course, we're going to pause, and you're going to see us on the other side. When you see us on the other side, everything we'll be doing from that point is talking about the African Cup of Nations. So we're going to have a robust conversation around the African Cup of Nations. And of course, tonight on the show, we're going to have, joining us right about now, the CEO of Elected TV, of course, Edafe Oseogene, joins us on the show. Greetings to you, Edafe. Thanks for finding time to be with us on the show tonight.
Thank you very much for having me. I needed to just adjust a few things and get ready for this. Yemi, first off, I don't think that this Afcon is, like you said, this is the best until the next one. So I've been watching Afcon since 1988. My first time was 1988 in Morocco. And I'll say here that this is the best that I've seen. And then there have been some that have been very, very terrible. 94 was great, 88 was great, 2000 was great. But then there are some like 98 in Burkina Faso that wasn't so fantastic. There was also 2012 that wasn't so fantastic. So for this one, like your guest said, God, everything have been awesome. The officiating, the VAR that has created in Austin Okon's country where they're apologizing every week. Now it's an apology like his boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, to be or not to be. Every week, our web comes out to apologize. We've been having it here and no apology. Everything has gone well. I love this Afcon, and I wish they could extend it to 2 months.
Wow. All right. A lot of us feel that way as well. But let me yield to Austin. A lot of interesting things to talk about, and I don't know if we're going to spend so much time on the Super Eagles because that would take us through. But let's start with Mali and Burkina Faso. I mean, two very close neighbors. We knew it was going to be tough. It was close and turned out to be everything we expected in a game between two similar sides.
Nothing short of the excitement I've seen this year's, Afcon. And I said it in my previous analysis that with the way the smaller teams are going, with the way teams that we don't expect to advance are moving, that I expect Mali to also do it. Because if you check, Burkina Faso, they've kind of, always been at the corner, waiting to pounce on teams that seem to underrate them. I think if I'm not wrong, from 2013 when they played the final with Nigeria, they've been doing everything to stay prominent with football in Africa, So I played this side. I was in Cameroon at the last edition. I watched them against Cameroon. I thought they were really poor. And then they went on to play the third place match with Cameroon and took Cameroon to penalties for the host to, win them in that third place match. A decent outing for Mali. I've seen them at this Afcon. They've shown grit, they've shown character, they've shown that they understand the physicality, the mentality that comes with playing African football. And I think that was the edge they had over Burkina Faso today. Beautiful show of football. If you check it with the odds that we used back in the day before this competition, we would have easily said, Burkina Faso would just somehow nick this one 1-0 or 2-1. But here we are talking about Mali advancing at the competition. And that goes on to tell the beautiful story that this Afcon is telling us.
All right, very interesting. Let me quickly I'm going to go to Edafina, but let me just quickly get your thoughts. Were you surprised by the scoreline?
I wasn't surprised. I kind of knew it was going to be a very cagey affair. In fact, I knew once you get to the quarterfinals or the round of 16, it becomes a knockout. You won't have the opportunity of, if I don't do it well in game one, I can still be lucky in game two. I mean, we saw a lot of, look at Ivory Coast, for instance. A lot of people thought they were done and dusted, but they still got in through the back door. But when it gets to the knockout stage, it's very typical of African football. Everybody wants to size each other out. Let's see who comes out first. And that's exactly what we saw. Although Mali showed intention from the blast of the whistle, they just kept coming at Burkina Faso, and Burkina Faso kept soaking in the pressure. Very typical of what we saw between Senegal and Ivory Coast yesterday. The quick goal did not deter Ivory Coast in any way. They still came into the game. They got that late penalty. Kese converted. And we saw the same thing playing out between Mali and Burkina Faso today. I knew Mali was going to win, but I expected Burkina Faso to just push up a little more. But the moment that second goal came in, I knew it was done and dusted for Mali in this one.
All right, let me go to Edafe. Your thoughts on the game. We already have 7 teams in the quarterfinal, and the last team we'll know the last team in a few hours from now. But your thoughts on that game? I agree with Okpeyemi that it looked like there was. I mean, it was hard to separate the team. I mean, even the scoreline shows first goal was a gift, and it was difficult to say that one team was clearly better.
Well, I agree with you, yeah, but if you look at it, going into this game, we all said it's Senegal's game, it's Mali's game to lose. But then, like Austin Okon said, these are two teams that are almost equal. The thing with African football is sometimes it's Machiavellian. One team rises, the other one drops, and then the other one rises again. So Mali and Burkina Faso are similar teams. The pattern that they play, the way they move the ball around, you almost can say that you would take every player from Burkina Faso and put them in this Mali team, and they will give you exactly the same type of performance. But having said that, you know how we say that in coaching, they will say football is a game of margins, and it is the person who make use of their margins properly when it arrives that really going to count. And you see that goal that was scored by the captain at the very death of the game, the free kick that came in, and a good header. If you had just waited and timed his run maybe 2 seconds, late, I mean, they would have dragged the game into penalties, and we don't know what would have happened. Just like the Cote d'Ivoire game that we saw against Senegal yesterday, they were just there. You know, it was the margin and the fact that you convert your chances, and the other one did convert their chances. But overall, I thought that Mali was the better team, just by a very, very small slice of it.
Okay, all right. Let me yield to Austin now. We'll spend a little time to preview Nigeria, Angola, and this is where I don't want to talk. I want to listen to everybody. I'll yield the floor to Austin. A lot of people are already talking about permutations. If we do this, we do this. I'm even hearing people say, okay, Senegal is out, Morocco should go out too. People are beginning to dream.
I know, and that's because of what this competition has shown us. By the way, about 11 minutes played in that game between Morocco and South Africa, and it's still goalless, I think this is good for African football. I say this because if you take a look at the teams that are doing so well, go look at administration of football in their countries. Even those small teams, administration is a big deal. Somehow, it just starts winning before you get into the main competition. Look at Cameroon. It is a 2 versus the FA versus the Gobetsong versus Onana. That's enough distraction. Don't even go into the politics of football administration in Ghana. If you check Nigeria, we did not see all of those brouhaha before this competition. They just stayed calm. And that's because of this mantra, let's do it again, that they launched. So everybody stayed focused to see what they can get out of it. Angola is tricky, very, very tricky. I've watched them. I've seen the way they approach the competition. We've also seen the Super Eagles. So because I'm co-presenting on the show, I want to go to Edafe. Edafe, I was trying to talk to you before we got live. You think it's just good enough as it is now for the Super Eagles? If anything goes wrong, we're fine. Or with what you've seen, this team can continue to power on?
Well, the good thing about the team is for a very long time, the last time I saw a Super Eagles evolve in its tactics was the Ghana-Nigeria 2000 Nations Cup, where Bonfrijo in every single game played with a tactics that suits the opposition, especially after the second game draw. We went through the tournament, we went through Morocco, playing Finidi George in the midfield. We played against South Africa, playing Tijani Babangida from the left side, and we saw what he did to McFish and the rest. It's been a long time I saw our team evolve. We've been playing like an Arsene Wenger last 12 years team where you say, go and play the Wenger way. Go and play the Nigerian way. We're Nigerians, just play the way we want to play, 4-3-3, irrespective of the opposition. But in this tournament, we played the first game, we got a draw against Equatorial Guinea, and immediately, the game against Cote d'Ivoire, you saw the tactical adjustment, the movement of players on the field. It worked. What was my expectation going into this tournament? For once in my lifetime, I felt that we're going to be knocked out in the group stage. Yeah, sad to say it, but that's the feeling I had. Because when we started drawing games against Lesotho, I'm not talking friendly match, World Cup qualifiers. For a team that didn't qualify for the last World Cup, was supposed to come here and show to everybody that we made a mistake not qualifying for the last one. This one, there is a plethora of African teams that will qualify, and we want to be the first team to make it there. We drew against Lesotho, we drew against Zimbabwe. It was already telling me that don't raise your hope. The last time I lost $1 million for us not qualifying for the World Cup. So I knew there's no need raising my hope. But then after the Cote d'Ivoire game, I had to come back and say, hey, there is the possibility that something might happen. And then we played against the other game, Guinea-Bissau. But the one that really excited me the most was the Cameroonian game. So there is this talk of, if Nigeria play Cameroon in the knockout stages, we beat them. We made them in the finals, they beat us. Okay, I agree. 84, 88, 2000. But the way and manner we played them, the way we hustled them, the way our players were willing to run, that's what we've always asked for. Now, would they continue with it, or are we already getting cocky? Because people are getting already past Angola like we did with Denmark, looking at Brazil already. Would they get cocky and get past it? I don't think so. I think that the team will still go. But there are teams in this tournament, like you said, who have prepared well, who have invested well, like Morocco, like a few other teams that I think deserve to win it. Yeah, Cape Verde deserve to win the tournament if it comes. I'm still not putting Nigeria as my favorite to win it, but I'm enjoying the run. They are proving me wrong. I'm eating humble pie. I think humble pie is a bit sweet for Super Eagles. It's sweet.
I don't blame you enough. I was in that boat also. I think Yemi felt the same way. It was it was unthinkable that the Super Eagles of Nigeria, you remember it started with a friendly against Saudi Arabia. It was a draw. They went on to play Mozambique. It was
I was in Portugal.
And the World Cup qualifiers came. They couldn't beat Soar. They couldn't beat Zimbabwe. And we're like, how are we going to go to the Afcon? But it seems with Zero and these guys, they just wanted to enter into competition mode. And that's why competition mode is different from every other thing that you see. The Opeyemi Akinyode, do you share the same sentiments with Edafe? Is your confidence boosted enough now? You think the Super Eagles can go all the way?
I think we're just very few people that could have stuck the neck out for the team even before the tournament started, even before the draw was made. I don't know where that confidence came from. I remember the day we had Babafemi Raji joined us on the show, and I was very clear about that the Super Eagles of Nigeria were going to win the Afcon, despite all of the, the heaps we're having as a build-up, the qualifiers, the friendly matches, weren't building that consistency, the synergy was not there, the team didn't look like they understood the responsibility of wearing the Super Eagles jersey, but I just had the feeling that the Super Eagles could go all out. I knew that we had individual talent, that it could get some form of cohesion, some synergy, come together, put the boys, just like Austin said, in a competition mood. I mean, these guys, they do this thing week in, week out for their respective clubs. Put them together, let us understand what it is. But I think one thing that has pushed us so far in this tournament is that the boys understood that if they crash out of this tournament, forget the fact that some people say, oh, we didn't give them hope that they could go far. We're not expecting them to go far. Every single Nigerian out there want the Super Eagles to win the Afcon. That is all or nothing. So as far as we go in this tournament, the hopes keeps getting better. I'm not being boastful, but I don't see the way Angola was going to stop us with the quality of the way we've grown into this tournament. Our first game against Equatorial Guinea, obviously very typical of every opening game. You are just neither here or there. Your second game against host nation, we soaked in the pressure, used a 3-5-2 formation that is really unusual for Nigeria. Then the third game against Guinea-Bissau, we knew that it was a win or bust. Win that game, top the group, lose that game, 4 points has already qualified us, so we're on the safe side. But against Cameroon, we came all out. I mean, the Camerooners didn't have a single shot on goal against Nigeria. So we keep getting better as the Afcon is going on, and I don't see the way Angola was going to stop us on this one.
All right. We're about to go on a break in about 3 minutes, but I want to get Edafe's thoughts on this one. Let's talk all around that this team, and even the coach was asked this question, and he responded in a funny way. With teams that want the ball, the tactics might work. What about teams that don't want the ball, that is teams that are ready to leave the ball for you? And on the strength of what we saw against Equatorial Guinea and on the strength of what we saw against Cote d'Ivoire and Cameroon, it tells the story. So what if Angola comes and not wanting the ball? Some people have said, look, it appears like the Super Eagles, when they have the ball, they probably don't know what to do with it, but when they defend, they can hit you. So what do you say if somebody says that?
Well, tactically, the way the team is structured, we would suffer in that regard. Let's be very honest. But at the same time, why saying they would suffer, these Eagles have shown us that they can adapt. And they talk about, it was John C. Maxwell who said something about the best of humans are those who can adapt to situations. So from the game against Equatorial Guinea in the first game to Algeria, and then to Guinea-Bissau, and then Cameroon, we have adapted based on the opposition that we're playing in. We've not been stereotyped. We've not, played a particular way. So I think that when we get to that place, we would adapt. Let's not forget that we've not played Kelechi Iheanacho in this tournament. Alassane Yusuf might still come back again. So there could be some tactical adjustment and substitution that just give us the edge. An Alassane Yusuf, for instance, that can cover the whole blade of grass. A Kelechi Iheanacho that have the most educated left foot, just not finding the consistency with the national team. All of those can just bring in a different spark when we meet a team that is not holding on to the ball, that is not pressing us like a winch from Kovun in the night. I think we would eventually find a way to play in the right way. I'm not raising my hope up, but I'm loving every single game, the attitude, the mentality, and the approach that the team is giving.
Okay, let me throw this one. Let me throw this. I'm tempted from the rumor mill. We hear these things, football banter and all that. A lot of people are beginning a lot of people are beginning. Okay, maybe I should just pause because of time. We might have to go on a break. It's getting interesting. It's getting interesting here, talking about all of these things. We just want to let our viewers know that when we return from this break, we're about to go in a few seconds. When we return from that break, on all our platforms, you'll still be seeing us on Sports Tonight, but on the DSTV platform, you will be viewing the program Inside Niger Delta. So that's what's going to happen. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, there's so much to talk about with regards to the Afcon and other sporting events going on right about now.
Finish in the first position. I know them, I know the players, I know the coach. I know the atmosphere they live now, but okay, it's a good opponent, but our team is very good in this moment. You need to think for beat Angola. You must play better than 2 days before.
I think so far so good, just because we are where we are. We managed to qualify now to the quarter-final, but yeah, we're not satisfied yet because I think we said from the start we want to win the Afcon, and yeah, there's still a long road to go. But I like the way how it's lining up now. I think the team is improving game by game, and most of all, I think the team is ready to work hard. I think you can really see a spirit of determination, and yeah, I think that's our it's going to be the base of all of our performances, and yeah, there's many things we can still improve, and we're working on it every day, like you saw in training today. But yeah, I'm confident for the game on Friday. You know, I try to do my best every time. I think there's always many questions, criticism, but yeah, I think I've been here before. I've done it before. I've been here now 9 years. I've played on big tournaments. I've done well in big tournaments. But yeah, I'm enjoying my football. I'm enjoying my club football. So the lead up to here, I think I'm feeling fit. I'm feeling in form. And yeah, you know, as you get older, you get a little bit more experience, and I think that's helping me too.
Welcome back. I wanted to ask Edaf something totally different, but listening to Jose Peseiro and William Troost Ekong, I was telling Okpeyemi in the studio, I'm very grateful to God that I'm not a coach. I probably wouldn't have taken William Troost Ekong to the Nations Cup, and by far, I want to stick out my neck and say, I've never seen him this good. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't good before, but I'm just saying if I was a coach, I would have made a big mistake not taking. I mean, threw his body on the line, did so many good things, and I like the vibes. And for someone that has received a lot of criticisms to put this kind of performance, I mean, I don't know what else to say, but just to say that, look, it will have been a big miss if we didn't pick him to go to the Nations Cup.
For me, I think that we are underestimating the miraculous change of mind by the coach to go do away with the worst player of the team, Francis Soar, and go get Stanley Wabali. I think that's the change, that's the turning point. And it's hard to say this, and know that you're too harsh, you're hitting hard on the guy, but he's had 7 years to lay claim. There's no goalkeeper that have had that much time. Even Wilfred Agbonibare and Aloy Agu that were all maligned and treated badly in the national team had incredibly great performance, but there just was a Peter Rufai. So he had 7 years and he wasn't doing well. Every time he was in goal. And from a footballer's perspective, when you play in a team and you're going forward, but you're not sure of your goalkeeper, it is almost a conflicting situation because you're thinking, if I lose this ball, one shot on target, we would concede. But then they brought in a goalkeeper who's got the aura, who's got the charisma. People still say he's not been tested yet, but he is not Francis Soar. He's not the one that the rest of the team, the opposition says, just hit the ball towards goal and you will score. So for Troost Ekong too, there is this part where, I mean, whether it's rumor or not, that people begged for him to be in this team. And I think that somewhere in his mind, he would say, you know what, I'm winding the clock down. Leon Balogun is gone. The Oyibo wall have been described as the worst defensive wall we've ever had in centre back. Maybe I should just go and redeem myself. And, you know, it was the last 2 years or 3 years, we started having a conversation around the bond in the abroad players should be do away with. And I think all of them have decided, let's step up the game because we've actually came into this team and all of us have not done well. Alex Iwobi, even though he was born here, but grew up in the abroad. Olaino, Kevin Bassey, Troost Ekong, Leon Balogun. We can't say typically because the Super Eagles have a window of always 10 years where they perform very well at some point and then don't do well. In the 10 years of this experiment, they've been woefully, failing us. So I think this is redemption for them. I don't know what's going to happen with Angola, but I really love what Trustekong have done, Olaino, Kevin Bassi, and the rest of the guy. Maybe Alex Iwobi the jury still act on Alex Iwobi, but I think almost all of them have done very well.
Okay. Let me go to Oyemi and we'll yield back to Austin. Is there any standout performer for you? I mean, you watch a Super Eagles game and you want to pick the man of the match, and you're having 5-6 contenders.
Well, I'm totally going to align a bit with Edafe, and the reason being that it's been a while we had, a team that didn't come up with so much expectations, but we're gradually absorbing them. We're gradually thinking, now, why not give them a better chance? We've been really hard on these guys, and the reason is that we've got so much talent to choose from, and we feel like, hey, as probably one of the largest footballing exporting nation in the world, we shouldn't be settling for third place. We shouldn't be thinking, oh, it's a golden bronze. We shouldn't be thinking, we shouldn't be setting our standard to, if you get to the semi-finals, it's enough for a national team. A team as big as Nigeria, a team as strong as Nigeria, a team with so much talent, both in the male and the female category. So it's only normal for Nigerians to expect more. They say to whom much is given, to much is... We've given a lot of support to the Super Eagles over the years. Now, a lot of people are looking at Trustekong, amazing player, Bassi, good guy. There's a Semi Ajayi somewhere. There's a Shemilore Ajayi somewhere that has redefined his role in the Super Eagles team and not just giving us stability going forward. It has given us a lot of balance when we are coming backward. And whether we like it or not, no disrespect to how the team has come up this time around, I think not having Uzor in goal is a master stroke of a coup. I don't know what we read that Osepasero said, give me a better goalkeeper, I will bench Uzor. Perhaps he went to Chippers United, saw Nwabali, and he feels like, why not? Let me give this guy a chance. And Nwabali in goal, whether he's been tested or not, the most important thing is that we've had only one serious shot against Super Eagles of Nigeria, which came in against Ivory Coast, and Nwabali did a good job for himself. He's been able to pick a piece of everything. I mean, you look at Uzor Yemi, and you look at a goalkeeper conceding a goal directly from a corner kick. I mean, there's no assurance when he's going forward. There's no stability in the heart of the defense. But there's a certain Nwabali that helps you to build your confidence going forward. You use a 4-4-2 in this Nations Cup. We use a 3-4-3 in this Nations Cup. We don't know what we're going to use against Angola. But whatever it is, I hope Nwabali is back in the Super Eagles before our next game.
Okay. All right. We have to move on. I said earlier, if we continue with the Super Eagles, I mean, probably have to end the show talking about the Super Eagles. But let's talk about matches that were played earlier. The Super Eagles were not only the one in action. Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire, I mean, most of us have alluded to that game in one way or the other. And I am guilty, actually. I gave this game to Senegal before it was played. And at some point, even towards the end, I was still thinking Senegal could nick it. I don't know if that's the way Austin felt about it. I want to quickly wrap this one up and move on. But it still feels like a stinger, sort of.
So no disrespect to Senegal, Yemi, but I was trying to educate people that, yes, they are a decent side, but they've had football on their side also. I think they've been lucky. I said it in 2021 because I watched them at the Afcon in Cameroon. Senegal struggled to come out of their group with 5 points. 5. They couldn't beat Malawi. They couldn't beat Zimbabwe. In the round of 16 against Cape Verde, they struggled. Cape Verde even got a red card. And from there, they just started having luck. The only time in the last 3 years that Senegal hasn't been lucky was yesterday against Cote d'Ivoire. And they lost. So, yes, someone will come for me and say, oh, are they not playing good football? Yes, they play good football. Equatorial Guinea schooled Cote d'Ivoire 4-0, and Senegal couldn't. Because when football wants to be football, we know we'll see those upsets. Yes, they're out now. Let's see what the teams that are remaining can do. Look, I've been looking at Angola, for instance. Really decent team. They started their campaign with a 1-1 draw against Algeria. They went on to beat Mauritania 3-2, and then won their last game, I think 2-0. And then they went on to dismantle Namibia 3-0. They were fantastic in that round of 16 match against Namibia. But against a Super Eagles team where Jose Pizarro is mixing Makossa and Galala, and dancing any type of tactics to confuse you, it's just going to be difficult, because I think what they've said to themselves, that if they are not scoring, nobody will score them. But the danger is that they are playing with the handbrakes on. They need to release the brakes. Let's see some creativity, score some goals. They scored goals against Cameroon, but you know that was indeed a nervy game. You know, so I like it. I like what's happening. It's going to be very, very tight against Angola. I think Angola will come out. They'll be much more physical. They will try to bully the Super Eagles, and one mistake could just happen. Maybe they'll get a red card, and then they'll get punished, you know. But let's see. I like the way the competition is going. I like the way the path is. In fact, the way things are opening up is like Nigeria is dividing the Red Sea and just have a smooth sail and just go and lift the trophy. But hey, it's just quarterfinal stage we're advancing. So let's just wait to see what football will give us here,
All right. I mean, just to echo the words of Edafe, let's not forget 1998, City of Toulouse. We're already thinking of Brazil, and Denmark taught us a lesson. I mean, but a lot of people, you know, that's the question I wanted to ask him. Maybe I'll ask you now as we move on. We're going to see the matches played in the round of 16 and the teams that have qualified. But you shouldn't take your eyes off the main aim, which is just to beat whoever is in front of you. But a lot of people are already saying, oh yeah, South Africa beat Morocco. Senegal is out. And that's what I'm hearing from everybody. Senegal is out. Morocco is the only team left that can beat you. Who told you so?
See, I think it's easier for us to be on this side and you do all of the permutations and all of the calculations. But in the minds of the players, they're professionals. They know that, just like they will say that a manager is as good as his last job, a player or a team is as good as the next win, and your next win had to come from your next game. And you know that against Angola, at this stage of the tournament, you have to win. There's no draw. Even if you use 2 days to finish the game, you play as much penalties as you can play after 120 minutes. So the players understand what's at stake. Now, when you look at the strength of both teams, you look at the way Angola have been able to move around their teams, the games they played against, Algeria in the first game, they had a red card. Algeria still couldn't beat them. In fact, Algeria had to equalize in that particular game. Their next game, it was a 3-2. Their last match, quarterfinals, in the round of 16, they had the 3-2 victory. They considered 2 goals that you feel like, hey, they could have considered even more in that game. So it's a gradual thing. And I also have a feeling that if the Super Eagles will get into this particular one, maybe we've been playing with some bit of caution because we've tried different formations in this game.
All right.
We've looked at the strength of the teams that we played against, and it has given us results. Against Angola, it's not going to be any different, Yemi. We'll go into the game with the mindset that win or go home, and then we have to win and stay back in competition.
All right, there's something that a lot of people are wishing will be in Nigeria. The Ivorians, Cote d'Ivoire, qualify for the next round. Austin described it the best way. I mean, look at these pictures. They waited for like 3 days to see if they were going to qualify. The bags were packed,
their manager,
and they had to unpack. Sack manager was looking for Ava Renard to come and be their coach. The French turned them down. But jubilant scenes, I mean, shouts of joy, celebration. I'm wishing and hoping that at the end of the Afcon, this will be Nigeria. That's what a lot of us hoping for. I mean, but this is what football does. And Austin always talks about the power of sports. I mean, this typifies the power of sports. All right. So, like we said, sport, may the best team continue to win. Let's quickly take a look at matches played in the round of 16 and also take a look at the appearance for the quarterfinal. I'll go across the screen once we're ready with that to quickly take a stab at it and allow the guys talk about it. All right, let me just go across and I mean, we've talked extensively about all of this, so I'll just blaze through this. On Saturday, Super Eagles of Nigeria defeated the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. Just for laughs, that was a Cameroonian musician, made a song saying it was going to make us cry, but it turned out that they were the ones that ended up crying. Angola defeated Namibia 3-0. This matches were played on Saturday. Let's flip Sunday. The Egyptians played a 1-1 draw with DR Congo regulation time, but the game ended 8-7 on penalties. The goalkeeper losing the penalty. Equatorial Guinea. What can we say about this game? They lost the penalty. Almost the last kick of the game, they lost to Guinea. These matches were played on Sunday. All right, let's take a look at what happened yesterday that we've talked about. Senegal, of course, the Teranga Lions lost to the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire. It ended 5-4 on penalties after they played 1-1 in regulation time. And of course, Cape Verde continued with their journey. They defeated Mauritania 1-0. Very good journey for Mauritania as well. And today, the Malians defeated Burkina Faso 2-1. And of course, there's a game currently going on. Austin wants to say something, but let me quickly take a look at the quarterfinal fixtures. I'll get to Austin. Quarterfinal fixtures, we already know with teams have progressed to the next round. Nigeria will be up against Angola. DR Congo will take on Guinea. These are the confirmed quarterfinal fixtures because of how the teams have progressed to the next round. Still some other fixtures. Probably get to that later on. Also, you wanted to say something. I'm very sure when I mentioned Mauritania, you had a thing or two to say.
No, this Afcon, we've said everything we want to say about teams and the performances that they've given to us so far. I just hope that at the end of this competition, whether or not you got us talking, we want to see some level of development with football in Africa. And I say this because I liked what Gambia did at the last edition. I like what Mauritania have done in this edition. I liked what Comoros did in the last edition. I'm loving what Angola is doing now. I love what Namibia did. It's a clear testament that these guys are beginning to see that everything rises and falls on leadership. That if we get the administration of football right, our football in Africa will be beautiful. And that is what will sharpen that competitive edge that we're seeing today.
All right, a good one. Let me just quickly go to Edafe. We've kept him on for a while. Edafe, we said a lot of things about this game. So before we let you go, what do you think will happen? Maybe in a way of a prediction, what do you think most likely the possible outcome when Nigeria and Angola takes to the field?
I think, I don't know if it is the course of 2024, but I've lost my predictive edge. I used to pride myself as the best when it comes to predicting, but it has not gone to books. Everything that I predicted, I said Senegal was going to go through. It didn't happen. I said Ghana was going to make it to the round of 16. It didn't happen. So many things that I've said that have not happened in this tournament. Said Nigeria was not going to make it out of the group. Well, I'm looking at this game, and first off, you have to consider the fact that when it comes to Angola, we've not had it too good. In 2006, it's still in our memories, how they stopped us from qualifying for that World Cup. We played every type of game scoreline with them. I mean, the first game was somewhere in 2019, and between that time and now, we played 6 times or so, and they've won us, they've withdrawn. We've seen all the type of result that is required. I'm looking at this game and I'm saying, the confidence I'm having is built on how the Eagles are playing in this tournament, because in analysis, they tell you, deal with every game on their individual merit. And on the individual merit of what this coach, Jose Peseiro, who I also didn't have much confidence in, and on the streets we always say what I ordered versus what I got. And most times you order quality and you get quantity. But in this case, in this Afcon, I think we also ordered Jose Peseiro and we got Jose Mourinho, because defensively we are solid as Jose Mourinho's teams. And going forward, we score you 1, we could defend it for eternity. So it's more like we ordered Jose Peseiro, but we got Jose Mourinho. Against Angola, who like to be robust, who also like to play the long ball. They can revert to try to play expansive and also play route one football. I want to see how that will work. The Shemilore Ajayi that, we've been praising is going to have to deal with a lot of players. Don't forget that the Angolans have taller players than every other opposition that we played in this tournament. So dead ball is something we worry about. The long balls is something we worry about. And as well as playing from the wings, because our fullback always go forward, whether it's Zaidu Sanusi or Laino or Kevin Bassi, depends on how the tactics is tweaked. So we would see a different team from all of the teams that we played. Because when you look at Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Cote d'Ivoire, almost similar region, West African teams who like to play in a certain kind of way. Cameroon might not be West African, but the way they play resembles what the West Africans would do. Angola is coming from the south. And they are one team that could really be a problem because they play us the way Cape Verde play other teams on this west side. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and saying, on Friday, may the best team win. I'm not really that confident enough to put my neck on the line.
Come on, Edafe, I'm not going to let you do that. No. This team, they've impressed you enough to clear whatever kind of cynicism you have. And that's why I want you to make a prediction. With what you've seen, you should come out and say, the Super Eagles can actually run over this Angolans.
I wanted to make that prediction, but now I've not gotten the all clear that the goalkeeper Wambali will be in goal. So until I get that all clear, I think I'll hold my peace and let God fight my battle.
I guess that's a good place to leave it. I want to thank you for your time on the show today. Hopefully we'll do this again some other time.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. And I'll be glad to do it again.
All right. I don't know what to say. I mean, the last part of what he said, while I was listening to you, I was, in my mind, I was like, have you gotten the confirmation of who's going to be in goal on Friday before you say this? But, well, it's hard for me to sit here and say, may the best team win, because I know who I want to win on Friday.
Yeah, I actually understand where Daffy is coming in from. And I like the fact that I didn't make that prediction. Don't let him jinx it. He said every prediction he's made all through this Nations Cup had gone the other way around. So let him just stay that way. But, when they say put your money where your mouth is, and that's exactly why I'm sticking it all out for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. No disrespect to Angola. I mean, we've grown into this tournament to understand the fact that every team that comes in, whether we like it or not, nobody wants to play the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's get that straight. Whether we're wobbling, we're fumbling, we're putting our legs, our eggs, the fact that the Super Eagles of Nigeria makes it difficult for anybody to come out and say we're going to beat them. So Angola comes into the game on Friday as the underdogs, whether we like it or not, irrespective of how much of a street run they've had coming into this one. But hey, it's the Super Eagles off for me. All right. 100% or nothing.
100% or nothing. All right. I don't know what to say. I'm not allowed to say anything. But of course, the team I want to win. All right. Let's pause, take a breather. And of course, we're done with that segment. And when we return, you see us on the other side. We have just about a minute to wrap things up on the show. All right, we're about to wrap things up. We're passing the ball back to Austin from his hand. A lot of matches currently going on. He's going to tell us about that, and you're going to give us a sneak peek into what's happening between South Africa and Morocco.
Let me begin with South Africa and Morocco. This game has been even. They've been creating chances. Morocco with a chance, South Africa with another chance. Morocco actually scored a goal, but it was called off for foul play during the build-up to that goal. So it's still South Africa 0, Morocco 0. That game gradually approaching halftime for the 5th minute already on the clock. Quickly in the English Premier League, interesting results. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. That game 57 minutes already gone. Fantastic display. Atom Lockyer, Luton's skipper. Remember, I had a cardiac arrest in that game against Bournemouth in December. He showed up at Kenilworth Road today, and it was so emotional. The fans were so happy to see him. He was moved to tears, and oh boy, his teammates are giving him a show because it is Luton Town 3, Brighton 0 at halftime. We're approaching halftime in that game between Crystal Palace and Sheffield United, and it is 2-2. The game between Aston Villa and Newcastle United, 30 minutes already gone, and it's still goalless. That's all the update. There's also Fulham taking on Everton. That game is also at halftime, and it's also goalless. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, that's the show. We did have fun. I want to thank Okwemi Akinode for his time on the show today. Hopefully we'll do this again some other time.
Adin, every single time you reach out to me, I'm always here.
All right. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your day. We appreciate the fact that you let us into your homes every time without knocking on the door. It's a privilege we will never take for granted. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.